don't understand. I don't know how to talk properly, except when I have a girlfriend sometimes. So I learn more. But when I don't have, it's not, the language disappear in a way. But I'm not Dutch, that's for sure. And definitely not German. I smile. So,
but German, they smile.
No, German,
anymore.
They don't have sense of humor. Sorry for them, but no, they don't have it. But anyways, I get this a lot anyways, so.
Всем здравствуйте, хорошего вечера. Сегодня у меня очень-очень интересный гость, он многогранный. Я думаю, сегодня он расскажет много о своей работе и о своей жизни, конечно. Don, good evening.
Good evening to you, Philip. Nice. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. That's very important that you came to me because you can share with us interesting stories, maybe some experience from your business activities also, because that's what we are about.
Interesting.
So, tell me about yourself a little bit.
A little bit.
Little bit, like to understand who are you, where are you from, what did you start with? I
will make it in a simple way so that we can continue the discussion in a smooth way. But again, thanks for having me today, and I'm very happy to be part of this discussion. So my name is Hani Mosbeh. That's my original name. Don is my brand name. And it came behind a big story, which I can share with you later. I'm working in the business for almost 27 years right now. Oof. Yes. So I was definitely very lucky to be starting my career in IBM, which was at that time the school of sales globally. Right, so one of the biggest fives. And then I moved afterwards to Microsoft, Cisco, Huawei, and then I changed to real estate for a couple of years with DAMAC, and then I moved back to technology again with American company, which is Jagger, which I run right now. So if I share with you more, it will be long, but that's in summary.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I live in Dubai for almost 21 years right now as base. However, I've been traveling all the time back and forth. I used to live in many places around the world, in Russia, in Moscow, in California, in Seattle, and more in China, and so on. So I never had a base, covering over 84 countries total across my career. I'm managing over 3,000 people.
How do you manage all these 3,000 people?
I don't know. I don't know how I can answer this question, but it's mixed of million things. Between learning experiences for sure, starting as a junior salesperson, knowing nothing about technology actually, and going into that field and learning it from the beginning gave me a lot of experience. As I told you, I was very lucky to be part of the top companies of the world, which gave me a lot of experience and a lot of investment in myself as well.
Okay, but how did you start actually getting into business? Because, you know, for most of the people, there is a question, how do you start?
Okay.
Where do you get the start?
So I'll tell you a very interesting story about the starting point. So when I finished my college, so in the beginning, actually, I wanted to join Marines, right? To be in a military kind of Marine service. However, there was a story behind it. My family didn't want me to do that, claiming that they will not see me because I will travel a lot, which happened afterwards in everything I've done. But anyways, I listened to that. I moved to my college. When I finished college, I joined IBM as a collector. So my first internship for 2 months was as a collector, which means I collect debts, right? So IBM at that time, IBM is open since 1954. Right, so a very old organization, huge, massive, and so on. So they have a lot of clients that they sell them the solution or the servers or whatever, and these guys, they don't pay on time. So my job was basically to go and get the money out of these clients and collect these debts. Okay. That's how I started. And after a couple of months in that role, I was very excited for sure, joining a big organization, you know, wearing a tie and all of these things. And the regional manager at that time, he called me to his office and he looked at me like that and he said, "Is that you?" I said, "Actually, that's me." He said, "The customers are very happy. There's no blood. They're paying without any blood as well involved. And they're calling him personally, asking him to work with me." And that's how exactly I started. So he asked me, "Do you want to move to sales?" And that's exactly how the story started with me.
Well, interesting, very interesting. And important question, during your period of your career, you had different, activities that you did. Have you had failures?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if anyone lied to you and tell you there's no failures, it means they didn't work,
No.
actually,
Yeah.
right? They were sitting by the pool or doing something else. Work is mixed of everything, right? And if you don't have failures, you'll not learn what does it mean success as well, right? So I had a lot of, I would not say failures because I don't like the word, but definitely there was a lot of drops, I would say, or sometimes slow down in the business that you go through. And this happened across the career in all the companies because it will never be flourish all the time. It will never be all the time amazing and beautiful. Real business, and I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, have the ups and downs.
Oof.
The good thing that you need to do is to learn from these downs and also strengthen the ups, right?
You know how funny it is, I would say, that in university and in school, they never teach you this. And what I found out in real life, that actually the biggest teacher is the, let's say, not failure, these downs, as you say. When you're like at the bottom, this is the biggest lesson that you learn from, and then you're going back up again.
Look, developing in my career, I learned something, and even I'm sure this episode will be shared with the world, so my HR partners will say that. I tell them anyone comes with a CV that only have MBA and studies and stuff, I don't even look at it.
Why not?
If you don't have a clear experience for me, I don't talk to you. If you come and tell me I spend my life after education doing more education to get the license and certificate, I'm not saying it's bad, it's definitely amazing for them, but it doesn't mean anything for me. Life experience and face-to-face experience with your customers, with partners, in whatever business is the real value for me. If you tell me only I have a certification on the wall, keep it on the wall. Life experience is based on interaction, engagement, face-to-face. So, yes, you're right. And schools, let's say previously, they were not much into telling you what you need to do in real life. It was more academic. I think nowadays, and I see it with my kids as well, they're more open to the real world in a way. Right? It have the ups and downs for sure. It depends on how the education, the curriculum, is it American, is it British, and so on, Russian, and so on. But at the same time, I think they're much more open to the real world. Like I can tell you that the kids right now, when they are 15, 16, they can do a PowerPoint presentation and they can give you a plan. In our age, that was not the case. We were only studying books. And at the end of the day, if you ask me one book I remember, I will tell you no. And if you ask me if I used it, I'll tell you also no. Probably history, I remember, but anything, geography, history, these kind of things, physics as an idea and so on. But if you tell me, is this really helps you in your business? No.
Not really. Not really, that's true.
Yeah.
Was there a point in your life that maybe a failure, that big failure, and you wanted to quit? Was there a point?
I actually did. So it was not like, how can I say it? It was a shocking moment for me because it was a big business that I'm running without mentioning the company name right now. Yeah. But I was leading the organization myself. It was a hard work for 24 months, taking it from one place to a much better place. And at the end of these 24 months, which is the closing time, December for me is always the closing because we usually calendar measured. I lost a very big deal, which will complete the whole picture for me. And I was working on this deal for 9 months. Mm-hmm. Everything was perfect. Everything was done in a very nice way. My team was working on it. I traveled for this deal more than 10 times to the other country to close the deal. And it happened on the 12th of December of that year that I was doing the review with the team, and the gentleman at that time, he told me, we lost the deal. And at that moment, after working so hard on the deal and running the organization, taking it really from very far place to a much better place, I felt like, oh my God, that's really too much. And I started to, which is not me, I started to feel down, and it affected even my health. So I ended up in a hospital based on this, right?
Maybe like overthinking.
It was too much thinking. It was too much work. I don't want to say 24/7 because people will not believe it, but seriously, I do in many ways because I cover different time zones in different regions. But at that moment, I ended up in a hospital, and my decision was, including my doctor for sure, is to never come back to this company again and to leave it. Because if you ask me what happened there, it was a mix of me trying to change the culture, which is something you cannot do. Change the people mentality, which is also something you don't have control over. It depends only on the leadership. And it was a very big learning point for me because leadership is my passion. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the moments that I decided I'm not coming back. Even they came to me and they asked me to, we'll do whatever. We had negotiations and so on. I said, it's my decision. And that moment, I never entered the office again till now. So that was a big, I would not say failure because sometimes you lose deals, right? But it was a moment for me that I learned a lot from because it was, again, a shortfall.
I think in this point when you have something like this, you need to take a break. For sure.
I did. I did for 2 weeks. Okay, not much, but
still 2 weeks.
But I did 2 weeks of thinking. I did 2 weeks of assessing the situation from my side, understanding why it was that much. What did I do to stress me out that much? Because people think if you are growing in your career and you're more in the leadership position, your life is easier. It's completely the opposite, right? Except if you already made the billion, that's another story. But if you're still running a business, you're responsible for people, everyone in your team, either reportees, direct reportees, or the team under them, the whole organization is your responsibility as a real leader, not a manager, right? So when you think that way, it's a lot of stress. It's not easy because imagine it's a tree, right? And every branch of this tree and every leaf of the tree have its own story and have its own background. Yeah. And you're running all of this. So
it's difficult.
Very, very difficult. And this is where you start learning that, yes, you have to support everyone in your team. You have to be very close. You have to have a lot of empathy to the team, but you don't have to be involved in their story because that takes you away from the real thing that you want to run and it stresses you out. As a leader, you take everything on your shoulder. So once you take everything on your shoulder and start building up, even me and you are big guys, but at the same time, we're human. Right?
True.
Which is something I ignored before. And I learned it after this moment that I had. So yes, you need to be responsible. You need to be engaged with everyone. You need to take care of your team 100% as a real leader. But don't go that deep because it will not help them. At the same time, it will really stress you out that you have to stop at the moment of time.
A funny thing that you said about culture, okay? How do you manage so different cultures, so many people in your business? Because for sure it's difficult because there are different cultures. Maybe, we know, in the real world, maybe some hate each other and so on. How do you manage them?
So I'll tell you the recent example, which is now, right? So right now I'm running Middle East and Africa, Asia Pacific, and I was doing Russia and CIS before the war starts and so on. So at the moment, the organization I'm running having almost 30 nationalities, right? And imagine this, as you mentioned, right? 30 nationalities. They have some people, they love each other, they collaborate, they work together and so on. Some people make fun of each other. Some people, it's a huge thing. But because of my experience running many countries before, and I understood how the culture difference is, and what points to touch and what points not to touch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And as I told you beginning, the story that I had, which stressed me out, is I tried to change the culture. So what I learned is, don't change the culture. Actually move with the culture, try to get the best out of it, and try to eliminate the points that doesn't match what you're trying to do. Because every business is different as well.
For sure.
Right? So if you're running a real estate business, okay, the culture of it is about the pull and also the push, right? Because you're trying to push a person to invest in something that some of them is the only money they have. And some of them, they have much more money, right? So, but the point is more clear. If you're running business in technology, which I do, you're trying to change how the company works. So it's completely different culture, it's completely different mindset. But I believe from my experience that you have to accommodate all the cultures. You have to be peaceful with all the cultures. you have to make sure that you respect every culture that you have in the organization, which is very hard, I understand, but it's a key for a leadership to do that. There's a big difference between management and leadership, and I think you understand that.
Yes.
Management usually, or the manager usually looks for his own success, and he looks only today. The leader takes the helicopter view, as we call it, the more visionary one, year to 3 years to 5 years. So that's why you have to respect the culture, you have to appreciate the people, and you have to listen to their problems as well. But you have to be very, very, very sensitive also towards the culture, because I don't want to mention political situations, but the geopolitical situation that we have in the world right now, imagine how many people have problems with each other without knowing it and without being involved in it. So managing these situations and these discussions and how sensitive you are when you send, for example, an announcement to the whole organization, you have to be very careful, right? So you cannot be biased to one against the other.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I can tell you that with experience, it makes you more mature, and it takes you to the point that I mentioned to you: respect, appreciate, and listening.
Well, that you can call maybe key principles that you use in the business, right?
100%.
Well, how do you find a common language in business?
Look, it's, again, back to the leadership, right? So I believe people, I'm not saying everyone for sure, but people are successful because of their leaders more than anything else. Because you can have one experience, the same person can have two different experiences based on his leader, right? He can be working in one place and he feels so frustrated and so monitored and so micromanaged, and he's very careful about what he does or she does in the business based on the leader. At the same time, this person, if you move him to the right leadership, which is more open, more clear, and more supportive, right? He can perform or she can perform very openly because they feel themselves. They do what they feel, right? So for me, you need to be 100% open. You need to be to the point. You need to be very clear. My strategy in general is I have very clear direction and I'm very clear on what I say. So I don't say double words. I don't say double meanings. There's no hidden agenda. All of these things for me doesn't exist, and I hate whoever does it to me. Because I'll not say I'm smart, but I'm experienced. So if you do it in front of my face, he or she, I will understand it from the moment you enter my office, right? So I don't do it, I don't respect it, and I follow that as main rule for me. Clear direction, strategy, everyone understands, and I make sure actually that they do, right? So I mention, like it's example, like, like the police, you have the right to remain silent or you have to talk now. So I mention everything, we're aligned, then we're clear. If you come back after that and you tell me something against it or you do something against it, then we have a problem.
So better just say everything straight.
Say it straight because I'm also straight, right? I'm a very clear person in what I want. I'm a very clear person in my communication, and I'm very much to the dot. And sometimes it's painful because I'm perfectionist in that. But you'll see when you deal with me, even other than the podcast for sure. But this is how I am.
So basically, if they just made a mistake or a problem, better to say it so that you can fix it on spot.
Totally.
And move on.
Totally.
Because a lot of people are actually saying that, oh, I didn't do that. Maybe it will fix by itself. But no, it will create only more problems.
In business, it's a cycle. So anything you do now and you think it will be hidden or covered, it will come at a point of time. Sometimes it doesn't come immediately, but it will come, and it will affect one of the points that's running the whole business. So better be clear, better be straightforward, because we all do mistakes, by the way. We're not gods, right? At the end of the day, there are mistakes in the world, and that's why we're human. So better say it early so I can help you to fix it.
Sure.
But at the same time, I respect more, especially on the senior team, to come with a solution as well as a recommendation. So I have a problem and I have a solution. Either I enforce it or endorse it, or I have another solution. But don't come and throw the problem only and say, that's a problem. So imagine you get a problem from everyone around all the countries that you manage and all the people, and you have all these problems every day. No, I would expect people that we work with to also have their own mindset and come back with a solution. It doesn't have to be the right one, but show me the effort that there is a problem and there's a solution.
Being an entrepreneur, talking about mistakes for sure, what is the most common mistake entrepreneurs making? Maybe yourself.
Believing that you know everything.
Oof, yes.
Biggest mistake, right? I learn every day. I learn from everyone I deal with, regardless of the business, regardless of the nationality, regardless of the region, regardless of anything. If you think that you know everything, you did the biggest mistake to yourself, because that's the starting point of failure, as you mentioned in the beginning. Learning from people and understanding is very important. The biggest mistake also, the second one, is to go, as I mentioned to you, very, very deep. It's too much. Entrepreneurship and leadership are matching. If you go very deep, you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, and you're creating more problems. So you have to have the smartness, I would say, of running the top level, understanding the core, and move.
Okay. And I know you're expanding a lot in technology right now.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this, because I want to know about more technology. Because to be honest, me in technology,
look,
I'm like in the woods here.
No, I mean, I'm not a technical guy at the end, right? I run technology, but I'm not a technical guy.
Yeah,
but for sure, I run software, hardware, infrastructure, cabling, data centers, passive network, active network, and so on. The business I'm running right now is about a SaaS company, which is called Software as a Service.
Yeah.
And it's e-procurement business, end-to-end procurement, which basically, in a simple way, if you purchase something online, right, from end to end. And again, I don't want to mention the name of the company that can be matching to that in the business, but it's a e-commerce, if you call it this way, right?
E-commerce, yes.
But on a procurement level, right? That's the software that we're running. For sure, with the trends in the market right now, we definitely have AI, we have Gen AI, which is the most common trends in the world, which is part of our business as well. So we're depending on that, and we're developing our products towards the same. That's in a nutshell what we run in technology, because if we go deeper, it will be a problem for everyone. But that's how I see technology at the moment. But again, one of the businesses, and that's why I always say I'm lucky, right? Because technology is one of the main businesses in the world that nobody can live without. It doesn't make sense anymore, right? Think about everything around us right now. It's all technology.
Yeah.
Right? In your car, your home, phone, laptop.
Everything is a blockchain.
Everything is about technology, right? So it's amazing business, but it gives you also a lot of attention, because you have to be self-aware and you have to be market aware about the trends, the changes all the time. If you sleep for one day, there's a lot of changes happen already.
Yeah, actually, when you mentioned trends, and because you're in this business right now, how do you follow up with these trends? Because they change so quickly, like seconds, instantly.
Look, the way technology companies run is based on focus and top things that we run every year, every calendar year, right? So basically we say, yeah, there is cloud computing, sustainability, AI, Gen AI, and our focus is 3. And we focus on that, because trends is not something that is not fashion. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work behind it. It's a lot of things to happen. Think about the world right now. How many people are talking about AI? Everyone.
Yes.
How many people understand AI?
I don't.
Very limited people, correct? It's correct. It's a topic that's very deep, and people have their different views and so on. So the way you can manage to cope with the trends is to have focus lists that you focus on, or a strategy. Your go-to market is 1, 2, 3. That's it. Whatever trend come, I will test it, I will talk about it, but I will never change my strategy in the middle of the year, for example, to match a new trend. We don't do that in technology, because that's also very risky. You can go out of your way and you start diluting the focus of the company, of the product team, of the sales team, and then you lose, you don't gain. And the reality or the experience that we have throughout all my years in all these companies is that focus is much more important than following a trend.
And for sure, in your area of business, you have competition, right?
Oh, for sure.
How do you cope with competition?
I love competition. I'm a very competitive person, right? In general, I mean, first of all, it depends on energy in my life, right? I'm very energetic. I love energy a lot. And competition brings me a lot of energy because it makes the team as well all the time awake, right? If you don't have competition, and that doesn't exist, by the way, anywhere, everyone have competition. I worked in the top ones. I worked in Microsoft and Cisco,
Yes.
which people think is number one, and that's the end. There's competition. In Microsoft, for example, my main competition was the piracy, right? So my main competition of my software was the copy of my software, right? So this is competition.
Yeah.
People think it's easy. It's not. It's very hard because you're trying to sell, at that time, a CD of Windows, right? And somebody's selling the same CD, including, they call it the golden CD, have games and have solutions and blah, blah, blah. So competition is very healthy. The main thing is that you learn about your competition, but always focus on yourself, not on the competition. If you focus on how to get the competition down, you lose. Focus on, yes, they do something good. Okay, I understand. But focus on your strength and your weaknesses. If there is something weak, develop it. If there is a strength, make sure it's shining and growing and focus on it. So always focus on yourself, understand competition, but keep the focus with you and your team.
That's actually a good opinion because we are, to be honest, in our business that we are doing right now, we for sure having competition, especially here in Dubai. There's a huge competition. Sometimes because we're quite a young business, we're actually looking at somebody else's business and we're like, oh, maybe they're doing something better than us. To be honest, the next day we're thinking, no, we're so stupid. We just need to think about our business.
100%.
Maybe make it better, make it more attractive, and move on. Don't look at other businesses. We will be there. We will be there at the top.
You'll be better.
Better, for sure.
You'll be better. Focus on you.
And make sure that we don't copy other businesses, because that's also, I think, a failure to me.
Look, any copy is cheap.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's copy. Correct?
True.
So, yes, as I told you have to be aware about what competition does, but never look at them, I want to be like them. No.
Yeah.
If you focus on how to reach what they have, they already did. So where are you? You come second, right? If you focus on your business, you can be first and first and first and first. So make sure you focus on yourself. There's always weakness. There's always things to be modified, tuned, better, developed, and so on. But it's your business.
Yeah.
Don't focus on others.
That's
Your
true.
brain is your machine.
Well, to be honest, mostly the brain here is my wife, I'd say, and me just the financial person and the
execution part.
Execution and negotiator.
Okay, that's
because,
nice.
Because we need to negotiate the better price for us. And
So
everything.
you complement each other.
Yeah.
Right. So
we do our part for the business.
for sure. So for her side, and women are very multifunctional, you know.
Oh, yes.
So the brain is definitely, I believe they're very, very smart in what they do. And especially in your line of business, continue. Push her to focus on herself more than anything else, because the idea came from her.
Sure.
So if she focuses on other friends or competitors or other brands and so on, she's not doing good to herself. She's wasting time, and somebody will come up with a better idea while she's focusing on others. So let her focus on herself, and you do the execution.
Yeah. Yes. I spoke about negotiation.
Yeah.
I heard that you're quite a good negotiator.
They say so.
Can you please tell me if you had some, maybe a story to share?
Oh, there's a lot of stories.
Like negotiation, maybe skills that you can share, maybe a fact that we can use in our negotiation skills.
Absolutely. So, first of all, I think it's a very interesting topic, right? And when I went into this negotiation topic very deep, and I got the license and global license as a certified negotiator with one of the top negotiators of the world, right? He's ex-hostage negotiator as well, the partner of Chris Voss. But I don't want to mention his name because he's more the introvert part, right? So he's more the undercover, but he's a very nice gentleman. And we met by coincidence, actually. But one thing I learned to start with is that every day we negotiate. right? In everything. You negotiate with your wife.
Oh, yes.
If you have kids, you negotiate with your kids. You negotiate with your suppliers, even with a taxi driver. You negotiate in everything. So this is part of your lifestyle. People doesn't feel it, but you are actually a negotiator anyways. Not everyone is the same. So there are certain levels of negotiation, right? However, for example, in my methodology that I learned and the way I run negotiations is that everyone say negotiation is a win-win, right? There's a lot of books that you can read about negotiations.
A lot.
There is Split the Difference by Chris Voss, and there is a lot of different negotiating books, right? But at the same time, for me, I don't follow the win-win. Because if it's a win-win, you don't need me, right? You can do it yourself. Because you can, win-win means what? 50-50, correct?
50-50 don't work.
So that means that there's no negotiation. Actually, it's very easy to do that because you can talk and make it happen. In my negotiation methodology, I always come on the side of my client or my benefit, right? So if we're sitting on the table right now and you bring me to fix a case for you or to negotiate on your behalf, I will make sure you win. I don't care about the other part. However, I will make him feel that he also win. That's the tactic that you play, right? So it looks like win-win, but in my mind, I go with an agenda. So back to your point about the skills and the main thing, always sit on the table when you understand what you're talking about. Do the right research, do the right understanding, have your own points that you want to come out from the room with before sitting on the table. Don't sit on the table and start thinking. It's already too late. When you enter to negotiate, you need to learn everything. And the most advanced one is to learn about the person you're talking to as well. Half of negotiations is listening, not talking, right? Because the best negotiator is the one who asks the right questions, not the one who answers the questions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's very important. So I would make you feel that you are on top of everything. You are the leading one on the table and you talk, but I ask you some questions to direct you to where I want to reach. That's how negotiations work, right? So you need to learn about the person, learn about the case, be ready with your answers and have different scenarios as well. Sometimes you already know that it will not be closed on the same day or on the same meeting. So this is one scenario that you have to come out with. And if you come out with that, you're already successful. If the deal has to be closed, that means you need to go with this outcome out of the room. And if you don't make it, you didn't make the right success. There is something we call it the Superman effect, right? In negotiations. And the Superman effect is very simple methodology. So basically, if you're going with your wife, correct? And you're closing a deal. First of all, you have to put the lead in the beginning. Who's leading and who's supporting? This is how negotiation works, right?
True.
And the leading should be always leading because that's the Superman effect. If the leaders start going back, like for example, she will close the deal with the gentleman or whatever, the other party, and he come and say, I'll give you now the deal, but give me 10% discount. Let's say, as an example. If she come back and say, okay, give me time, I will ask, she lost already her Superman effect. Yeah. You got the point?
She backed down.
Exactly. Now, the other party is waiting for this person to take over as the Superman. You got my point?
Yes.
So if you want to keep your impact and your effect, you have to be ready for all the answers and you have to be a decision maker.
So basically like first person is the leader and the second, if you in pairs, support.
Yes.
It's
roles. It's a game. It's not just a simple thing. Yeah. It's a big role and it's a big game. It doesn't show like that, but if you want to go really professional negotiator, you have to follow that.
Was there a point in your life that there was a time when you were negotiating with someone and you just stressed yourself so much and you said, oh my God, I'm going to kill that guy?
Oh, many times. Many times. So look, people in general, if they have the decision to make, they feel power. If you squeeze them as a professional negotiator, they feel stressed and they start attacking you in general.
Oh, yes.
That's very normal. It's a human reaction, right? So Once they come and attack, it depends on your character. My character, I'm very high-tempered person. It's very clear, I think, right? I'm very energetic. I'm not a calm, but in negotiation, you have to be. You have to be calm. You have to swallow, absorb, and so on. So back to your point, it happened to me many times. One of them, I was in China, for example, right? And very different culture, very different way of doing business, very different attitude, and so on. It's their own way of doing things. And they start, very hard discussion, right? At that time, I know that if I stand up, I will eat him alive. But I have to really absorb it and say, you know what? It's okay. I will kill him later. Let's close the deal first. So you need to be much more experienced to absorb that, because the moment you lose your temper, you lose the deal.
Well, that's actually an advice from you.
100%. The moment you lose the temper, the moment you lose the deal.
Actually, I would say that I'm quite calm person. I'm usually very, very calm. But when somebody hits me up, hate me up very much, at the end I can burst, and then I'll start the negotiation. But I can swallow a lot of things, which is good thing from my side, because my wife, she's like tempered one. When she enters the negotiation,
she was crazy.
People always come back to me. I'll better deal with you because you're the kind one. Actually, I'm not.
Which is not true. They just see it this way.
Yeah, it's not the kind one. It's just I want them to think like this.
Because that's the point, we call it the loud one in the room is the weak one in the room.
Yes.
Right? So they take her as the weak, but she's not. It's a character. It doesn't mean that she's weak. And you are silent doesn't mean that you're weak as well, or you're the kind one. You're not. You're actually absorbing and ready to answer. So there's no rule, right, in that way. However, that's what I'm saying about the lead and the support. If you know that already and you're sitting on the table, you take the lead. Don't give her the lead. Agree before you enter that you are the one who's taking the lead. Let her take it out, but you take the lead. At the end of the day, you need to think about, what do you want out of this meeting, right? This person, with all respect to this person, he or she, will be your brother? No. It's business, right? So agree first on what your outcome that you want to be. For sure, if you will be a friend after, it's amazing, good thing. But at the end, it's a business deal. So be clear about your outcome. Be clear about the roles that you guys playing, and just follow that.
And you know what I have discovered also, that you must never mix personal and business.
100%.
Because when we did it, it's
a very fine line.
Yeah, but that's a lesson for us.
It's a tricky thing, right? And we all fall in this trap before, right? I did as well before. The problem is, when it comes to the personal line, people have more expectations from you, right? So negotiations becomes harder, expectations becomes larger and bigger, and people start feeling disappointed. And that's not real. We're closing a deal at the end. This person cares about his business, you care about your business. Even if you're personal friends, you will not go against yourself for your business, and he will not do the same. So it's a psychological thing. It's a mentality. But the reality is, there's something different between business and personal, and it will be forever. Just need to draw the line.
Yes, I understand. And you talked about psychology.
Yeah.
Have you studied psychology before?
No. My psychology that I understand is from life experience. I never studied psychology at all. However, I'm very much into the mentality thing, right? How to manage your mentality, how you manage your personal understanding, how you create a mindset that help you being successful. Because the trap that people fall in is that they start getting disappointed and feeling that there's no motivation anymore, right? In whatever they do. Motivation is important, but it's not the main measurement, because motivation can go up and down, right?
We're people.
What you have to do is to create a purpose, not a motivation, right? So if the motivation goes up and down for whatever reason, because we are human, as you mentioned, you'll take a look at the purpose. What's the main goal? What's the main purpose? And you go back to this one. If you have a clear purpose, if you have a clear goal and clear direction, you always come back to that. And this is the push that you will have to continue focusing on that.
Yes, but for sure, one day in your life, you're feeling maybe like, I need to relax a little bit. Maybe I'm tired. For sure, next day you will wake up, no, there is a purpose, I need to move on.
Yeah.
But these things come in your head, and how do you get rid of them? These ideas just to, oh no, I'm tired. Look, I don't think I can get to there.
I'm not telling you I'm a magician in that, or I've never been there. I've definitely been there. But all what I'm saying here is just trying to focus on your mindset all the time. Even if the day is bad day, as we call it, it's bad day because of your mindset still. Believe me. Because the reality is, what will happen? Nothing.
True.
Nothing. It's all come from your mindset. If you wake up in the morning, and I call it the mirror moment or whatever they call it, there's a lot of people talking about the same concept. But this is the time that you talk to yourself. Women, they do it much better than us because they spend more time in front of the mirror, right? No, it's true. This is how they do it. By the way, I respect that a lot because they spend effort and they do effort to look better, right?
Yeah.
This is investment in yourself, by the way. So it's a good thing to do. However, if you mix it with some moments of reality as well when you talk to yourself, because nobody in the world will be honest with you as yourself. This is reality.
Yes.
Whoever, wife, friend, sister, brother, father, mother, whatever, the most honest person to yourself, he or she, is yourself. Because there are a lot of things that people doesn't know, and they will never know. It's only you. So you stand up, talk to yourself, change your mindset immediately. Oh, wow, that was very bad. Okay, and then what? Now I need to go back and make it okay.
You know, I feel a little bit motivated now. Maybe tomorrow morning I will wake up some completely different person.
You got my point. So at the end of the day, it's a mindset thing. And by the way, I was also the same. I was frustrated, I was angry, and so on. It still happened for a moment. But once it's happened, I go back and, okay, what is it about? Me. So I always say, invest in yourself.
Yes,
and the investment in yourself, one of them is your mindset. And mindset doesn't need money. Mindset needs character.
Yes,
only your character, right? And by the way, that's why I'm saying about people getting ready in front of the mirror. Your representation of yourself gives you motivation. It gives you energy. It gives you better mindset. We represent ourselves first thing before anything else. If you're selling anything or closing any deal, the moment you enter the room, this is already 50% of your sale. It depends how you look, how you smell, how you talk, all of these. This is not something small. This is really big, right? And I always tell anyone, even if you're going to buy milk or bread or cigarettes or whatever you do, be ready to meet someone because you'll never know who you meet. It can be your next customer.
Yes.
It can be your existing customer as well. So always look, I'm not saying you have to be fancy or whatever.
Yes.
But always be ready to meet someone. That's as part of the mindset. And this is 50% of how people perceive you, right? So the other 50% is what? What is wrong? Do you see something wrong in yourself? What is that? You did it before, you can do it now, right?
It's just in your head.
It's all here. It's all about the mindset. So that's what I'm saying. People need to spend time with themselves at least 5 minutes per day. I'm telling you 5 minutes. We have 24 hours. Spend 5 minutes talking to yourself and you will find your life changing.
You know, actually, that you're saying this, I've noticed that every morning I wake up before my wife, for sure, like around 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I actually, not in front of the mirror, but just thinking about things for like 15 minutes. I'm not watching, like not using my phone, nothing. Just, just wake up and think about things, whatever comes in my mind. How I'm going to do the day, what did I do wrong yesterday, what will I do today, how I can improve myself, these things. Sometimes I scare of them because some things are coming in my mind, they are like maybe overthinking, but then I calm myself down, wake up and, move on.
Look, I do the same. And if you ask me the perfect vacation for me, it would be somewhere without internet. Because
Yes.
connecting to our phones
Yes.
is really, really hard. And we call it the phone detoxing, which I try to manage even with a very busy schedule. Same for you, for everyone. But it's a very important moment. And if you think about it, even if it's not in front of a mirror, as you said, it's super, super important. If I show you my calendar on my phone, you will see a block of 5 minutes. It can be changed through the day for sure. But I'm saying 5 minutes that I talk to myself. Because sometimes you really don't have time. I don't even have time to talk to myself.
What do you say to yourself?
Basically, I say to myself who I am. That's number one. What did I achieve? I need to be proud of myself. I need to celebrate what I did. Because you know what? Every day we do good things. We definitely not do best things. Sometimes we do wrong things.
Yeah.
But we also do good things. And some people say that doing a good deed per day makes you relaxed. Do that. Invite someone for coffee. Give someone an apple. Bottle of water. Whatever it is, it's a good deed. That's energy, right? But what I say to myself always is that, okay, that was a hard day, for example, right? But there's always positive side of it. What should I do to make it better day tomorrow? How to make it easier for everyone? How to make it easier for myself? Because again, back to the leadership part, one of the main things that you think as a leader is how to make successors. How to build successors under your responsibility. Because you reach a point that you compete with yourself.
Yes.
Not with others, right? There's always competition, but I'm saying as a mindset.
Yes.
As a mindset, you compete with yourself. So the success that I feel is when someone from my organization or works with me, regardless of the role, is successful or do something good. I feel so proud of that. So again, talking to myself about what went right, what went not very right. I try to use not the wrong words, right? So
Yeah.
I don't like to say, as I told you in the beginning, I don't want to say failure or mistake or, I try to make it not very good, not very smart. Not, you know what I mean? So
yes,
it's more,
yes.
It's more about positive side of the discussion, even to myself, because it creates my mindset to be on the positive side.
To be honest, actually, we are actually using the same thing, because whenever you are talking about some negative things, you are attracting them.
100%.
We are trying to change them, paraphrase them, to make them negative-ish, but to put it in a positive way, so that we don't attract them.
Which is a very good decision, right? And this is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, if you feel negative, you attract negative, and you will be negative, right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's easy, by the way. It's a mindset change, just to be clear for everyone who's listening to us. You need to work on your mindset. You need to master your mindset. If you think it's easy, it's not. It takes some time. But once you reach this point, your life change.
It's hard, but hopefully we'll
But the
get
best.
there.
But the best.
Yeah. I have very importantly, because previously I've been working deeply in real estate markets, interested in a lot of developers, a lot of clients, different clients. I had small clients who's been trying to find a property worth of 50,000 dirham, which is quite impossible. Clients that have been searching for villas that cost nothing, and so on. Good clients, some are not so good. Tell me, because as I know you worked in this sector for some time.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Look,
how is it? Difficult, easy?
Again, look, this market, I always say when I joined this real estate business for a couple of years, I learned a lot, okay? Even if I compare to my business, which I run technology, it's so simple compared to my business, right? Because at the end of the day, with all reality and with all honesty, you're selling an apartment or a villa, right? So there's no solution, there is no design, it's much simpler in a way. However, it's very personal. The real estate is very personal business, right? So you're talking to someone about his personal investment. And that's the tricky part. So when you learn how to talk to people about their main interest and their own interest, you need to understand, again, back to the research, as I told you before,
Yes.
you need always to research the person you're talking to. That's why, for example, as we discussed before, we've spoken about the cold calling. I hate that. You need to understand this person. What does he like or she likes? When they wake up, they like water, they like air, they like to stay in the mall, whatever interest they have, because this is your entry point to selling to them. Second, you need to try to get to the point to understand, is this is their only money that they have, or they have more money? Because it's a very big difference in how you sell to this person, right? If it's his only money or her only money, you should be very careful about that money, because that's the only investment of life, right? Basically, you're buying an apartment. This is your life investment, which is actually true for many people, right? Yes. And it's a big one. So if you know about the person that he or she is the main thing they invest in it, deal with them that way. This is your best investment, and I will tell you why. It's your best, and I will work with you to get you the best option for you, because I know yes. This is your money that you're putting, all your effort is there. It's different than managing a portfolio for someone who have a lot of assets and have a lot of money, and he's floating his money basically across. Very different way, right? This person cares more about the ROI. He puts $1, he wants $2, da, 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 da. It's a lot of differences. So I would say real estate market, first of all, is different in every country. It's not the same in every country. It's regulated. The regulations are very different. In the US is different. In Russia is different. In the UAE is very different. Very different. The main thing here in the UAE is that you understand how many nationalities are selling, right?
Yes.
How many developers are doing projects? How many projects are not there, actually? So it's announced every week. There's a huge competition in the real estate market here. Everyone wants to be number one, right? The reality is, or from my experience at least, you'll be number one based on quality first, and delivering on time and keeping your promises. Sure. That's super important for people or for the buyer at the end. But if you ask me about how hard is the market of real estate here, I believe, and you can notice that, watch the awards of agencies or for RMs, as we call them, right? Okay. Every year, you'll find them the same. And that's for a reason, because the way developers work, at least from my perspective, you give the best inventory to the best sales. And the rest, they'll start fighting forever, but it's very hard to close, right? So real estate in the UAE in general, everybody thinks it's easy. I think it's very hard. And I think the market is very tough, because people who doesn't get a proper kind of decent job, they go to real estate and thinking this is the only way to make money.
No.
It's not, because as I told you, if there's 100% of market, there is always a 10% who are making all the money all the time. Yes. First, they build the clientele, they build trust, and they get the right inventory, and they understand the market dynamics very well. So they will always be successful. How many agencies opened last year and closed?
No idea, but a lot.
Many. I forgot the number.
Thousands.
I heard it's 3,500 agencies.
Yeah, actually, I heard the same number.
Yeah, so I think it's accurate. So imagine 3,500 companies open and close. Do you know what does that mean? This is disaster. Okay, so people need to learn that it's not as easy as it looks like. You'll not sell because you're beautiful. Okay, you'll sell because the customer wants to buy. That's very important to understand as well. And again, back to what you are selling. So you need to choose your portfolio of selling, right? Your vendor, or what we call a developer here in this business. It needs to be a trusted developer. The project has to be clear, delivery on time, handover on time, after maintenance, many things that people need to learn before going to this business. It's not as simple as it looks like.
Yes, true. And I would say why I'm moving away from this business is that nowadays it seems that everyone thinks that it's very easy, as you say, and they are going into it. And now people think there's a lot of, let's say, ladies who are having the oldest profession in the world. They are joining this sector also. Okay.
Yeah.
And clients are mixing up with this kind of...
No, clients are very smart.
But some know. Some know. I've met on
some
my way.
Some I know, but I can tell you a trick that they do sometimes, right?
Yeah, tell me.
They pay the EOI.
Okay.
They get what they want.
Okay.
And thank you so much. Right? And that's the trick that happens a lot. So I agree with you. Without mentioning the job, but some of these ladies
they all this profession.
They do that for sure, thinking that this will make them sell, which is completely not true. Customers are becoming smart, and what I mean about smart is that they know how to use it, or let's say abuse it in a way.
Yes.
Right? So yes, it's not like before. It's not a very, I don't want to make it this way, but it's not the cleanest way of doing things. And it's not as it looks like. At the end, always think about the person who is paying money to invest. He's not paying money to spend time, because that's also another business that's available, by the way. So people want to do it, they can do it anywhere in the world. It's not a problem. So you're right. I mean, it's very tricky market. It's very tricky business. A lot of ladies, they fall into this trap, but I think they learned the hard lesson.
Yeah. I mean, because I've seen a lot. I've been here. You've been very long time here, but I've been here for 3.5 years. I've seen a lot of things. We've been through a lot of things also. There was up and down. There was a time when we had nothing in the pocket, basically, but we came back stronger, and we moved forward. What is the one, I think, advice that you can give to entrepreneurs that are starting their business here in UAE?
So this is one of the things actually I do, right? So I have my own kind of startup as well as an advisory, right? So I have a program which is called C-Level Transformation Program, which is mainly made for entrepreneurs that come to the market and they have some cash and they think they're already CEOs. Right, so they open whatever, and they say, "I'm a CEO." That's actually not true, because to be a CEO of your business, you need to learn a lot of things. You need to be aware about a lot of things. So the main advice that I can give to everyone entrepreneur is to seek help, actually, from the right people. I'm not saying only me. I'm not selling here, but I'm saying get the advice from the right advisors. You need that.
Get a mentor.
Get a mentor, get a coach, get an advisor. Depends on the size of your business and what are you running, because that's important. These people are more experienced to help you and to put you on the right track. And this is exactly what I do, right? I take the company, I take the person. I usually coach the main person more than the company itself, but it depends on how to change the thought leadership, the structure, the investment, the finances, the KPIs, the goals, and all of this within the organization or the startup to put this entrepreneur on the right track, and then follow up with him or her after, depends, every quarter or whatever. So first advice, get advice, right? So
yes.
Don't be shy. Don't think that because you're opening your own company, you know everything. Market is very tricky. And if you think you're the only one who's having this idea, you're very wrong, because there's a lot of people having the same idea and better ideas. So get the right advice from the right people. This is number one. Number two, don't over expect. Don't think, oh my God, when you do the planning, I will do 100% immediately in the first year and I will cross the numbers, and it can happen. I'm not saying it's not, but don't put yourself under this stress. Make sure that you have a clear visibility study, a clear plan, that you know that breaking point is the most important thing in the business first, and then you start making profits. So a lot of work has to be done before just going and saying, I run business and I have my own business. So I think get the right advice, do the proper planning, don't over expect, and make sure you have the right skills as well. And this can be developed with training, with coaching, with mentoring, yes, which also I do for these people, to make sure that you run your business smooth.
As we say, if you think that you're the smartest one, don't. There is always a smarter Asian there somewhere.
Look, there is always. It's not a kind of, at the end of the day,
true, maybe.
If there is how can we say it? There is always a buyer and a seller.
Yeah.
At the end, right? I don't want to mention exactly the word, but there's always a buyer and a seller. Stupid or smart, that's another story. But yes, don't think that you're the smartest. That's for sure.
Well, I have a lot more questions to you. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. And at the end, I have prepared for you a quiz, a short quiz, just to understand your mindset. Maybe for some, it will help answer their questions.
I'm getting gifts for that or no?
Well, if I have some, I'll give you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. What do you love the most about yourself?
Passion.
Okay. Is there a person you are inspired by?
For sure.
Who?
My first mentor, actually, or let's say the person who discovered my talent and my skills, right? And that was in the first organization that I joined. And I remember this person very well. He's the one who told me, you will be on stage, you'll be a star, you'll be a leader, and you will remember me. And that was 26 years ago.
Do you ever regret what you did in the past?
Regret, no. No regret. But I learned. Definitely I learned.
Without what your life would be meaningless?
Energy.
Oh, yes, energy is very important. What are you most afraid of in life?
It's a good question, actually. And I think the most thing, I will not say afraid because, again, I don't like the word.
You can
but
paraphrase
let's say not the best thing of feeling, let's say, is not achieving what I want. I love success.
Well, everybody loves success.
And I think it's something when you feel it, you always want it. So I would say this is the only thing in my life that I feel not very happy if it happens. And definitely all respect to God for sure.
And one more thing, because I wanted to ask you this question at the beginning, but I forgot. What is the meaning of Don?
Okay, so it's a very interesting story for sure. But if you come to my office, and I will invite you for sure to come to my office, you'll see the Don Corleone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So when I was young, as many of the people in the world, I fall in love with the Godfather character. But for me, for a reason, because this person is super, super strong outside, regardless it's mafia or not.
Yes,
but
yes.
at the end of the day, he's very strong. He's managing the whole thing. He's a big leader. And at home with family and friends and so on, he have a very big heart and everybody loves him, not scared of him. And that's, I think, what inspired me. And people, when I was young, they started to call me the same way because of how much I was very much into like my mug is Don, my everything is like about that, So that's where it started. And it's not the full name, it's only the Don thing. And by the way, my own company is also called Don. So it's kind of a branding for me. It's on my business card, on my LinkedIn, on everywhere. So it's becoming so much attached to me, but it's coming from that concept. And I love it.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. У нас сегодня был вечером прекраснейший гость. Вопросов было куча. К сожалению, я не смог задать все. Но я надеюсь, что мы вместе с ним еще где-нибудь посидим, может быть, даже за чашечкой кофе, и обсудим все эти нюансы, моменты, потому что человек с большим опытом готов делиться с любым начинающим человеком, потому что он может быть тоже как ваш ментор. Спасибо.